In today's video, we're going to talk about the 4 most important differences between commercial and residential real estate, and which one is better for you depending on your goals, experience, and finances. Okay, before you even invest in real estate, you have to actually source a deal. In residential, there are a ton of ways to do this. Not only could you work with an agent, but there are also tons of other platforms and tools available to you depending on what kind of deal you're looking for. It could be Zillow, Redfin, or it could even send direct mail and visit for sale by owner properties. Now, the deals typically can get done pretty quickly. You can go from sourcing a deal to closing sometimes as quickly as just a few short weeks. Commercial, on the other hand, moves much slower, but there's a lot more money to be made. For starters, there are definitely less deal sourcing options. The main two being either working with a broker to find a deal or directly contacting listings. Although there is less for sale, you can still go on listing platforms similar to Zillow that include LoopNet, Crexi, and CoStar. More to find all the details you need. Next up is financing. As you're probably aware, residential is usually based on a fixed 15 to 30-year mortgage rate. And although there are different financial instruments like FHA and Freddie Mac, their terms are pretty much the same across the board. Now, you as the homeowner are backing the loan against your personal income and credit history. With commercial, it's much different. There tends to be some more complexity because of the end of the day, you're running a business. Loan terms can be anywhere from 5 to 20 years, with your business backing the loan instead of you, which is much different from residential. It's also common to have a balloon payment at the end of the commercial loan, which is not really heard of anymore in residential real estate. That balloon payment is usually due every 5 years. So every 5 years, you have to negotiate a new term or a new loan with the bank. Now, we're going to talk about leases. Leasing between residential and commercial is similar in that there's a landlord and a tenant. But in commercial real estate, basically both parties are a business 100% of the time. This means the relationship is going to require more fundamental business skills, especially when it comes to legal and finances. One of the biggest pros for commercial real estate is actually the ability to evict tenants more easily. In a normal residential lease, if your tenant defaults, you have to wait 60 to 90 days until you can even evict them. Whereas in commercial, you only have to wait a couple weeks after a missed payment to lock up the building, and then wait another couple weeks to fully evict the tenant, so it goes much quicker. But in reality, you rarely have to evict commercial real estate tenants for the simple fact that most of the tenants are credit-worthy tenants like Domino's, UPS, FedEx, Starbucks, some banks. These tenants are all credit-worthy tenants, which forces them to pay their bills. Now we're going to talk about cash flow and profit and the differences between residential and commercial real estate, okay? Now the profits obviously in commercial are much larger because you're not dealing with the $250,000 residential house. You're talking about million or multi-million dollar properties, which in turn provide more cash flow, okay? The profits are also much more because in triple net commercial versus residential, right? The landlord or you as the investor does not have to pay for taxes, insurance, property management company. There's a lot less time invested, so the time value of money is much greater in commercial as well. There's a lot less risk. So that is why I personally invest in commercial and triple net, to be exact, is because there's just a lot less focus on the tenant. There's a lot less stress, a lot less work, a lot less time. Profits are bigger, numbers are bigger, and quite frankly, it's a lot easier to finance through the bank because the banks are financing on a business and not somebody's residence. Now, if you want to hear more, please click the subscribe button down below. And if you actually want to learn more about commercial real estate and the triple net space, please click the link below. In my course, we teach everything from financing, finding deals, finding investors, sourcing deals, and much more.